everyone. Welcome to Reimagine with Renata. I am your host, Renata Del Carmen, and this podcast is your go to space for faith, fashion, and lifestyle inspiration. It's designed to empower you to live boldly, love deeply, and walk confidently into your purpose. Now, I know our past few episodes have been a lot about our recent election, the results, how to show up to a polls in style, the importance of voting. And now that we are on the other side of that, we get to have a different conversation. And this is actually a conversation I would have earlier in the fall. But given the state of our country and the ever changing events of the past few weeks, I felt it necessary to speak more about where we were as a country for those of us that live in the United States. But one thing that I have consistently done over the past few years in the fall is prepare for the year ahead. And we are rapidly approaching January 1st, 2025. And I know there's time, right? But you all have rushed us to Christmas. We've bypassed Thanksgiving. Stop and be thankful, okay? I enjoyed the decor, the holiday decor, but let's be a little thankful for all the things that we have, what we've experienced, and the fact that we are here and we get to make some impactful decisions about the way we move forward in our lives. And so I am excited today because a part of that planning for the year ahead is about the vision that you have for yourself, for your life, and what you are destined to experience. And we get to create that. And I have the pleasure of being in conversation with a lovely, beautiful, intelligent, talented, and amazing woman who is not just a friend, but she is an inspiration as a mom, as a visionary, as someone who has really set the stage for her life and is supporting others with doing the same. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to introduce Stacey Singh. Hi, Stacey.
Hi, Renata. How are you?
I'm great. You look beautiful.
As do you. As do you. No, I
Thank-
was just trying to keep up. That's all.
And this purple, I love it. It's a
It was
vibe.
all in honor of you. I know that's one of your favorite colors. I was like, let me see. My lip's not showing as purple as I wanted it to, but it's supposed to be purple too. But it was all for you, boo.
I love it. It's beautiful. How are you?
Thank you. I am wonderful. I am wonderful. And you see me looking up because I try to be as authentic as I can with those answers and not be automatic, you know? People think that
Mhm.
that's just an automatic answer and I'm like, when you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to stop and think, how are you doing? So I'm
Yes,
doing wonderful and excited.
I
Excited
love
to be
that.
here.
Thank you for bringing that vulnerability to the space.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
I really appreciate when people really answer that question and it's not just a phrase, a saying. So that I love how intentional you are about that. So yeah.
It makes me think. I think we need to be intentional about when we're asking because I don't ask how are you unless I want to know how you're doing. It's just not a regular hi is hi. How you doing is a real check-in. How are you?
Right.
You know? So it's not automatic for me. So I try to do it both ways when I'm receiving it and when I'm giving it. Because sometimes I don't want to know how you're doing.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. I don't have the capacity.
I love this. I love this. And I love that viewers and listeners get to experience this authenticity between us because I think there are some things that we have verbally established with one another just in the way that we interact with each other. But then there are those things like we're just on the same page about things.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that as well.
Yeah. That's the only way I want it. That's the only way I want it.
Stacey, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and
Ooh.
yeah.
Ooh. What do I do? What do I do? You know what? I'm still figuring out what I do. So there's the I know what I do. And then there's the wow, learning about what I do. So, for the sake of your question, I am a mom. That's who I am. My name is Stacey. I'm Stacey first, right? I'm an individual. I love to have a great time. I love getting to know people. I really honor getting to know people. I think it's a true privilege when people let you in on that other side. Like, here's my world, and I welcome you into that space. I love it. I honor it. I respect it. And I really hold it really dear to me. I don't take it for granted. Then there's another hat that I wear, which is a mom. I have 6 children for the ages from 28 to, I'm going to let her be 6. She's going to be 6 pretty soon, and a grandma, right? So I have a new little one. She's going to be 6 months coming up. And I really take joy in that because all of them are so different and our relationships are so different. And then I'm somebody's employee. We get to have that pleasure. But I love my job because I made a vow to myself that I'm not doing anything that's not in alignment with who I am. So my job and my business, they really walk hand in hand. It's like I can take components of this and enter it into my personal life and my own my career, like to where I'm going with it myself. They let me create, so I love that. And for my business itself, I am the founder, CEO. Not only am I the president, but I'm also a client. I'm my own client as well of Phenomenal, which is transformational coaching program and it's really transformation. Like, what am I transforming you from where to where? And it's from the regular rigmarole of life. And I believe that we've been programmed from the time we popped out of those that birthed us. And my goal is to transition you and transform you from living this fantasy, this idea of what you're supposed to be, to who you really are. Like,
Love it.
live within your spirit a lot, because I believe that we're spiritual beings having this human experience. And I really want people to live in their highest possibility, their authenticity, like the way they desire and wish for themselves. They would want someone dream, someone had dreams for them, the highest possibilities. And I want them to have access to that, because as moms, we kind of lose space of that and we take on the job. It becomes a job, but you forget about you. So just remember who you are. My motto is find yourself, free yourself, be yourself. Not that you ever lost it, but go ahead and find yourself within that and live there. I'm also a clinical hypnotherapist. It's kind of, people have this idea of what hypnotherapy is nothing as to what most people think it is, but it's part of the reprogramming. Hypnotherapy to me is just like deep meditation and just realigning yourself. I don't do all the quack like a duck and all that extra stuff. It's just really getting in contact with who you are and just reprogramming the subconscious, reprogramming who you are and bringing that person to the forefront so that you can really live to your fullest potential. How else do I do? I am also in the running a pilot program, which I think is going to be super dope. I'm loving how it's coming out, right? To give you that connection and that ability, because people go through programs, and I've been through many programs, with this coaching experience. And I've come out hyped up. I've come out highly motivated. I've come out inspired, and it gives you this fire, this desire, like, yes, that's the change I want. And most of the times the facilitators, you can see where they are and you're trying to get to that point. But in my program, but it doesn't quite leave you with the how to, the day-to-day how to, and sometimes you think you have to sacrifice this and how do I fit this into my life? So my program is designed with tools, everyday tools, not just everyday tools, moment by moment tools, to where you don't have to stop anything in your life to experience that transformation. Like, go in your goodie bag. Oh, I forgot to do it this morning. Do it right now. Right now, right here, right now, with what I am supplying you with. You are doing the work. You're doing the practice. You don't ever have to turn it off from the moment you wake up to the time you go to sleep, and it's not shifting anything in your life. So I'm the how to.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I have to say, because I'm sure anyone that is watching or listening in this moment is like, wow, that is a lot. But can I tell you, as someone who has been able to experience you in multiple facets, you do not sound like you do not present as the person that is doing all of those things, right? And not saying that you are not capable, saying that you do all of those things and you do it with grace and you do it with a smile and you do it with ease and you just embody someone who is just so balanced and so like effortlessly moving through life. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to feel like a fight, like a struggle. And I know there are a lot of moms, just from those in my circle or those that I communicate with that are like, how do you balance it all? How do you balance it all? Do you have any like insights on what I guess led you to a place where you were able to like balance it in a way that it didn't look heavy, even if it felt heavy?
Listen, I thank you for that. I really appreciate that because I do know you experience me in many different ways. I'm going to say for me, my experience is the key to trying to balance it all is not trying to balance it all.
Mm,
You don't have to balance it. Just be who you are in that moment, right? And what got me to that was life was stressful. Like, come on, with all these kids, you think I didn't come with stress? And I don't have the I didn't grow up with the average family, the support, the aunts and the uncles and the mom being there every time you need her and the grandparents to lean on. I had to figure this crap out. And one thing I had to realize, and you see, and I'm very careful with the words that's being used because that's what it felt like. I had to
mhm,
figure this crap because it was like, what is this? What have I been dealt? And it goes back to the program, and this is the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to act like this when you're a mom. This is the way you're supposed to respond with the kids. This is how your work life is supposed to be. This is the way you're supposed to live. And it's just like, but what if it's not in alignment with who you are? I'm trying to follow this this protocol and I don't have the instructions as to how to succeed in this protocol. And it kept me in this loop of not knowing what to do. How can I live that life? That's not me. So with that, I had to like really stop and think about, what do I want to do? How
yeah,
do I want to achieve it? What am I missing right now? What's missing? What's missing? That's the question. Like, what is missing? And I realized what was missing was me,
mhm,
and trying to figure out how I wanted to do it and what my experience is going to be. Like, put down what everybody else is trying to impose on you and figure it out. So we're individuals. I got to find my own unique way of doing it. And I want that for everyone.
yeah.
There's things that work, but there's things that don't, and there's a lot of things that don't work. And yeah.
That is a very pertinent point to this, especially when we talk about transformation, because I feel like I experienced a lot of that in trying to figure out the craft, right? But I felt more confident about being able to take it on and do it when I became more confident about my place in the world, right?
Hmm.
And my responsibility not just to myself but to my daughter. And I think I charge becoming a mom a lot to being a catalyst for me figuring out the crap. I don't know if I would have tried to figure it out as rapidly as I did when I became responsible for another human being. I was like, oh well, girl, it's not just you.
Hmm.
You have
Hmm.
to be this person in order to cultivate a good human in your daughter. So I think there's a lot there. And we'll get into it. Perhaps we'll get in
Right.
deeper into the conversation.
I also started realizing, though, one of the big things for me was life didn't feel like it was worth living. Like, this couldn't be it. If this is what I'm here to do, I don't want any parts of it. It really got that hard at times. Like, I don't want to figure this out.
Yeah,
So with that being said, it was like, we got to make it worth living.
right.
It's time to make it worth living. And yeah, that's where the magic started happening.
Yeah, and that breaking point, I mean, there are a lot of people that experience it, and I call it the sick and tired of being sick and tired phase, right? And I've been there multiple times, actually, not just once, right? Sick and tired
Multiple.
this job, sick and tired of living this way, sick and tired of like this circle of people, right? Maybe for me, sometimes it felt like climbing out of those scenarios, but it is Stacey Singh that
Mm-hmm.
supports you, right? To shift from sick and tired of being sick and tired with the actual practical tools of shifting your life to feel more exciting and exhilarating. And this is a me thing. It's not for everybody. Some people want life to feel like everyday grounding 24/7, but I want life to feel like exhilarating and exciting.
Girl, you know that's my language.
I want to approach everything with excitement and curiosity, which is why I always start the show with I'm excited to be here because having these conversations with you all and everyone listening is exciting to me. Learning and supporting and growing and inspiring is exciting to me. So I'm glad to have Stacey joining me today to be in conversation about how to approach 2025 with excitement.
Right.
Yeah, I think when I worked with Rochelle on the Voting Style initiative around approaching voting with excitement, I was truly excited and still am. Like, it was an exciting experience for me. And I think the shifts in the world over the past year with this election and the uncertainty of what is to come, people have maybe not tossed away their goals, but are feeling like their goals are not attainable because there is so much uncertainty. There is like this scarcity mindset. So I guess I want to talk a little bit about the importance of having a vision for yourself and setting the tone for what you want your life to be like. So like for the purpose of this conversation, having a vision for 2025, have you like thought for yourself like what you want 2025 to look like for you?
I want to have a good time.
Yes.
Let's start there. Whatever I do is going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. I realize the only thing that's constant in life is change.
Mm-hmm.
So, with everything that's going on, it's going to shift, and that's okay. It's going to evolve. It's okay. And we also have to find balance, right? So, the world needs balance. So, sometimes it's going to work the way we want it to, and sometimes it's not. And you still get to show up. So, for the year that's coming up, I'm looking to one, have as much reach as possible. I really want to allow and continue to create a space where people really can get in touch with themselves and have real conversation about that, like really explore without having to put on the blinders. Oh, can't look this way, can't look this way. Oh, I can't say it this way because it might hurt your feelings. Like, let's have this. I want to give permission to people because sometimes we think we need permission, which we don't, but people would guide you into because we feel uncomfortable doing it this way. And I feel this way when you say this. And this is what, it made me think like, but you're communicating for you to have access to the better part of you,
Yeah.
right? The higher part of you, that divinity that's within you. I want to give people access to that, like guide them to that. So that is my biggest and, my biggest goal. And the more people I can do that, it's a little bit selfish because the more people that I get to do that with, the more people I get to enjoy. And like, because those are the only conversations I really want to have. I want to have, even if it's fun, I want to have a conversation with the real you. And, I take pleasure in part of what attracted to me to you, Renata, is you are a very authentic person, right? There's no mistaking about it.
If I don't tell you, my face is gonna let you know.
Listen, and you're not trying to hide it. You don't walk around with a mask, and if you don't think that this is the appropriate space to say something, you're not going to say, but you're going to see that you're not comfortable with it. right? You're not into conflict, but you're not okay with the BS either. And I appreciate those are the only people that I want to continue to make family with. The only people that I want to continue to make friends with. Those are the people that I want to live with in the world, and we need to do that. I'm looking forward to like seeing who I am on another level. Right. I'm looking forward to seeing how my business grow. I'm looking forward into seeing how the children are coming around, because when I'm supporting the women and the mothers, somebody got to make a guest appearance, right? And she coming in looking crazy on top of it.
And how are you? Thank you for coming to say hi to us.
She had zero cares about it. Like, and I'm coming. Poor child, this Brooke.
She is too cute. She's a star. With that, I believe that we are people who are self-aware. We understand ourselves more, I would say, than the average person, right? And so we know how to identify where we are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and we know how to make those adjustments to get into place, and or we know who to have a conversation with when we are having a hard time doing so. But for the average person, when it comes to reflecting on where they are and where they want to be, what types of questions should they ask themselves to identify what they truly want, right? In the setting of goals.
I'm smiling because you know this question that I'm about to ask. You know this question. One is, and it's wild that I'm starting here, is like, what are you pretending not to know? Right? Who am I doing this for?
Hmm.
What do I really want?
Yeah.
If I continue this way, can I get to where I want to go?
That's a good one.
Hmm.
We often hear people say that insanity is doing the same things, expecting different results. And it's not cliche for me, but it is a mark and reminder when I identify a pattern or something that I've experienced before, and the inevitable is going to be something I do not want or do not want to experience. And we have to be willing to, one, ask ourselves those hard questions,
Right.
especially the what am I pretending not to know and what am I doing this for? Because sometimes those shifts are ego driven, sometimes those shifts are about safety. Sometimes those shifts are about transformation.
Hmm.
And even asking myself some of those questions, I always end up with like an answer that I'm like, where did that come from?
Hmm.
Like, hold on. When I really sat and was still and asked myself, like, what are you pretending not to know? Or if I continue this way, will I achieve what the goal or will I receive what I'm looking for? And it's like these answers could go either way.
It can. I got another one for you. Am I loving myself?
Oh,
Am I loving myself?
am I loving myself? Especially as a mom, it can become so easy to be doing everything for the children and forgetting that there is something that you are not doing for yourself that would be the best way to support the children.
For the sake of the kids, we always sacrifice in this sacrifice. But who made up this definition of for the children and the sacrifice? You know what you're teaching these children? How not to care about yourself, how not to put yourself first. You're teaching them all the things you don't want them to learn if you continue on this way. And it depends on, what it looks like. But when you are loving yourself, when you are having these real conversations, when you are like really taking those moments out to have some me time, like we have the self-care, we have to redefine what self-care looks like, because people think is going to get your nails done, that's self-care. No, I just need this because I need my hands to look cute. This is
Right.
maintenance.
That's
This
maintenance.
is not this is not self-care. This is maintenance, right? Because I can't show up with them little crusty nubs. Um, Thank you.
What do you have today? Beautiful FYI.
Huh? I needed to make it pop. I was like, what's gonna Okay, so the self-care part about that was I picked out a color and I was like, I'm not feeling the happiness in that color. And then I was like, really? You want orange? But when I looked at it, who are you doing this for? I'm not walking around with orange nails if I'm sitting here in the programming.
Right,
I'm not walking around with the orange nails. I'm of a mature age. Here I am. But the self-care, the loving myself was that orange is really making me happy. When I look at my hand and watching this orange on this brown, that contrast, baby, it does something to me every time. I
right.
just spend the whole moment looking at my nails and it puts me in a good mood, right? I know I'm on video right now, but I had to go spray some perfume on myself because it puts me in a decent mood. How can I raise my vibration? So these are the little things that people don't think about that you need to do. Do what you need to do to raise your vibration.
Yeah,
Get yourself, what's your favorite piece of candy? Go ahead. Even if you got to put it in your mouth, spit it out, whatever. Do what you need to do. Forget what anybody else says, but do what you need to do for you. Yeah, but that's the color is self care.
I love that. It's so indicative of, like, when you walk into a room and you survey the room, you can look at people and see, like, and it's not just about looking good, but it's about everything around them and how they show up, their aura. You can tell, like, they are intentional about themselves.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes moms feel like there is no time for that. There is no space for that. They feel guilty about prioritizing themselves in that way. Like, what would you say was, I guess, in your own experience, the hardest part about prioritizing yourself? And, like, how did you make that shift?
It's gonna sound redundant, Renata. It is a must. There's no other way for you to do it. You must prioritize. If you love your babies, you must prioritize yourself because they learn by what they see. They learn by experience. That is how, when they see you taking care of yourself, they learn what's important to take care of myself. When they see you sacrifice, they're going to sacrifice. You absolutely must. Ask me the question again, because I think I got stuck in the like, we have it, we got it wrong. We've had it wrong
Yeah,
all along.
I mean, you basically answered the question. Is like figuring out, and here, there go my two.
There go yours, right?
Um, identifying, like, how to prioritize yourself. And I'm clear that some of it is time and task management, right? But in my experience with friends, especially friends with multiple children, young children, it's about not feeling the energy or whatever is necessary to move from, like, exhaustion to prioritizing themselves, or moving from, like, and I've had this conversation with parents in general working in education where they find it difficult to support multiple children across multiple grade spans. And work is a top priority, right? In their life. For many of us, we need an income to support ourselves. And the conversation I would have with them is like, it I don't know that work is the issue. I think the conversation and negotiation that you're doing with your boss, right?
Hmm.
Or your supervisor, is because it's just a conversation, right? And if they understand that this is where you are with their family, they value you as an employee, then they'll support you to ensure that you can support your children. And if you feel like that is not an option, or that's not going the way you need it to go in order to benefit your children, it sounds like you have decisions to make about your employment, right? And that's a real conversation, but for many, that's a scary conversation because
Yeah.
they don't feel empowered to have those types of conversations with their boss. So I'm just wondering, where do we have opportunities as parents, as moms, to say, like, that is least important? My self care, my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health. goes before all of this.
It has to. And I hear the question you're asking. It has to, because we teach people how to treat us. The way we show up in the world and the way we take care of ourselves, we're giving them the blueprint. This is what I accept. This is what I don't accept. This is what I prioritize. When you take that PTO, like, you don't use the PTO, they know who to come to, because we got a work mule here, someone that really don't value their time. So if you're not doing this for yourself, why must I do this for you if you're not even going to try and do it for yourself? You absolutely must. And, I think that's where we got it wrong, right? We were taught that we have to care about what other people think so much. And to even when it comes down to our care, we put that responsibility in someone else's hands, whether it be our partner, whether it be our boss, it'll be our friend. We put so much responsibility on another person to care for us. And I don't think that's fair. It's not fair to that other person, because guess what? They figuring out their life also. And now what I'm telling you is, I need you to figure out my life as well. I need you to figure out what I need, because I'm not doing a good enough job of doing it for myself. So this is what I need you to do for me. And if you don't do it, this can't work. You don't care about me. But how do they know? You're not providing that for yourself.
Right.
It's not fair. So let me show you what I need. Let me show you what my boundaries are, because I'm going to live in it, right? I'm going to live in my highest possibilities. You're going to know what I tolerate, and they know it from the go. I'm not even going to try that with Renata, because Renata is a surefire no for that. But you know what? I might go try that with Stacey. I know who I can do it with,
Right.
right? And you don't want to be the BS person.
Right.
So it's extremely important, even when it comes to work. The employer know who they have on their team. They know who they have on their team. They know who, I'm going to give the workload to. I know who I'm going to ask to stay late. I know who, I know who I could talk to crazy. But you set them boundaries, and you set up and you show them, this is what I value, they won't even try it. And if they do and you correct it in that moment, they won't try it again. And if they do, because they might, we don't have control over people, and you remove yourself, because that's what caring for yourself is.
Right.
Right? It's nobody's responsibility. It's yours. And if you continue living that, the people that can get along with that in a healthy way, they'll be attracted to you. And the ones that can't, they repel. It's a magnet. You turn it one way, you turn it the other way. One way is going to attract them. The other way, don't matter how you try to put it together, it's going to push it away, right? You turn that magnet backwards, and those people that's not supposed to be in that magnetic field is getting that push. You can't even touch them. And that's how we live our lives. So what side of the magnet you going to be living on?
That's a word.
You got to be it. And you go ahead and you attract that stuff. This is what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm coming to you with it. If you're going to be passive, I'm going to come to you with the stuff for you to be passive with. And it's easier said than done, right? Because we do have to figure out what is running. How did we get like this? You may never find out the science behind it. And I don't even think it's your job to really find out the science, but learn enough about yourself to know how you operate, so that you can know how to navigate away from it. You can't get all the information. It's too much information. How you got this way? Listen, the history line is too far back, right? But you got to find out, know yourself, learn about yourself, make that be your project, your lifelong project. This is how I operate. This is what's running my life. You've experienced my program. We find out the things that's sitting there and just completely sabotaging your lives. And when you find that out, you're not trying to get on the opposite side of it, but now that I'm aware of this, you can't change it if you don't know it. Become aware. So now that you can put it in perspective, give it a place, identify it. And you know what? Because I got people pleaser in me. I know that I'm a people pleaser. And guess what? I like that about myself. But I want to be empowered with it. I don't want to be taken advantage of. I love seeing people happy, right? I love seeing them I love servicing people. I love listening to people, right? I love being there for people. I like that, but I want you to use me if I'm there, and if I can, utilize me.
Right.
Utilize me. Don't misuse me, and don't take advantage of me. That's not what I'm here for. Don't try to manipulate me with it. Oh, you got it messed up. You got it messed up. You thought that you were going to abuse me in this situation. You thought you were going to manipulate and you thought you were going to take advantage. I'm not that type of people pleaser, but I used to.
So good.
And that was a struggle I had. I was like, I don't want to lose that part of me. It was like, do you mean? Because it was like, well, you got to stop letting people. I like this part of me. Actually, I love this part of me. Right?
Yeah. And this is valid for everyone in our lives, even our children. Even our
Right.
children.
Right. How do you turn your weakness into your strength?
Yeah.
I know some controllers in the world that is not giving up that controlling situation, but they don't want to be the controller to where they're repelling people. How do you use that to empower? Right? How do you know when to use it? Because it ain't going to work all the time.
Right.
And you have spaces where people need control,
Yeah.
where you can be an asset, right? And welcome with love and empathy and understanding. It's like, oh, we just need order here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I think about this in just the way you've described it is so powerful because it truly is how we can interact with everyone in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And as a mom, when I think about making this shift, right, I think most people, I'd like to believe, give us the grace to transform. But like our children, they hold they have different views about this, especially depending on their age, right? They become accustomed to interacting with mom or even dad in a certain way, and that is like always going to be the way. So when you think about shifting the way you interact and teaching people how to be in community with you and how to love you, and you start to set boundaries, is there a way to like roll this out to the children or like include them in the process or show them intentionally what this will look like moving forward?
So, what comes to mind when I think of that is one, you lead by example.
Yeah.
You show them what grace looks like, right? You mess up as much as possible and don't hide it. Don't hide it. Let them really embrace their mistakes. Wow. So, what are we going to do? What did you learn from that? Like, actually ask the questions where they start to learn how to explore what's going on in their lives. What are the pros? What did you learn from it that is going to positively affect your life? And what is going to negatively affect? What would you change if you can change? So, giving them that space to explore and realize that it's not cookie cutter, that they have autonomy, that they get to make decisions, right? And don't have the answer for them all the time. You're not there to provide answers. We make the child, we don't make their mind. We're not the only people that have influence on them.
That's a fact.
From the moment I realized, like from the moment they started going to school, I'm like, I didn't teach you that. Oh, you thought they're only going to learn what you taught them? There's going to be people that have even more impact. There's people that like they're admiring because it's going to resonate with them. It's going to speak to their core. A lot of things they're leaving that once they leave home.
Yeah.
They come to realize that this isn't it, right? Your programming is not it, but teach them to think for themselves. Teach them to answer for themselves. Allow them to explore, and as they start taking the training wheels, you might need to loosen it a little bit and watch them, help them, support them along the way as they learn to grow into the grandest version of themselves. Because once they get out in that world, they're not going to tell us anything.
Yeah.
Well, everything. Some of them do call all the time, but they won't tell you everything. They tell you what they want you to know, but you want to trust that they know how to go through this process. Even if you're not there, you're there.
Yeah.
And you taught them the tools to operate in the world, not just within your home. Because life is not inside your home. It's bigger than your house. When you get out there, I need to know that you're able to figure this out on your own. Because you ain't gonna want to. I don't even know if I can handle the stuff that you're about to tell me that you did. And I don't need to know everything because I'm going to mom you. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such having raised a child to the age of 18 now. I'm just like, whoa, like still grappling with the fact that God made me responsible for a whole other human being. And
Yes.
then
For
watching
a time.
for a time,
For a time.
and then watching her mind evolve and create her own understanding of who she is in the world. It's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
wow, really a miracle to
Look at
watch.
who she has as a mom.
Oh.
It wasn't optional.
I
It
think she,
wasn't.
I think she sometimes grapples with that too.
That's because she doesn't quite understand, but you are her base, you are her foundation, you are her core, right? And your heart is me knowing you. Your heart is pure, and you are a forever student.
Yeah,
There is no, this is the way it has to be. Yeah, as a parent, we got to lay down the law sometimes because there's some things I just can't let you do. I'm not going to let you get burnt,
yeah.
right? But you're going to feel this heat. You're going to feel the heat, and you have to feel the heat, but I'm not going to let you get burnt. But her foundation is solid. It wasn't perfect, but it's solid enough for her to, she's taking the fruit of it, and she's taking out the seed. She's eating the fruit, and she's taking the seed, and she's replanting it so she can grow her own roots. It's going to be okay. Just like with my kids, like sometimes I've heard and I've seen all types of stuff, but one thing I can say, the core of who they are, I may not like everything that they've done in their lives. And there's not a whole lot that I've disliked either. I just probably would have made different decisions for them. But guess what? It's not my life to make those decisions. But who they are as human beings, that I'm not concerned about.
They are beautiful. They are so beautiful. Their spirits are beautiful. It's just like the way you have multiplied in the earth, my dear, is just
I
beautiful to watch.
appreciate it. I
I love it.
appreciate it.
I love it so much. I come from a very big family. My mom's mother had 9 children. So my family is pretty sizable. And when we think about just like making this shift and teaching people how to be with us and the boundaries we'll set as we nurture these seeds that we're planting. When we think about the holidays and like coming together with family, is there anything that we can do to like set the stage for our plans of transformation? Sometimes, we might ask people to be an accountability partner. Sometimes we might feel like we need to take a step back, space. Is that something, given our transformation starts today, right? Is that something that would be supportive, or how do people approach it?
I think that I love the whole idea of New Year's resolution. I do like it. I can't say that me per se, I follow the New Year's resolution. One, because life is a continuous change, right? I might say, you know, I want to be 155 pounds. And then when I get to the 155, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to do that. And maybe it's not the weight that I needed to focus on because I realized muscle also has weight to it. So things are constantly shifting. I think it's like really figuring out what your values are, right? And your values are going to guide you to your purpose. And your purpose are going to guide you towards your way. Now, what I appreciate about New Year's resolutions is it's a starting point of, okay, you know what, I'm going to, it's just like you get more people in alignment with you at that point. Everyone has that energy, that starter energy, and it's like, I don't know why I'm thinking about a bike. When you're revving it up, you
Yeah.
get that momentum. So I love it for stuff like that. And I really don't, not just for the New Year's, mine is my birthday. When my birthday come along, that's a new year for me. So I started then. But to answer your question more so, I think every day you get to start a New Year's resolution.
Mm,
And not just in the day, in every moment you get to start it. If you want to get the conversation, it just take one person living by example. Like, hey, like start the conversations of where do you see yourself? You open it up. What do you see for your next year?
yeah.
What are you trying to accomplish? Give them a North Star. This is what you want to like. How much of that do you, because sometimes people, they're hearing themselves say it for the first time, and repetition is key. You might be introducing them and they may not accomplish that this year. It may not be for another 5, 6, 7 years, but help them to start getting clear on it. Be vulnerable. Wow, last year I didn't make mines, but I came closer. Have them hear the momentum in it because everyone is looking, they're looking up to someone.
Mm,
right? And I think in life you need three positions. You need someone to look up to,
Mm.
you need someone to walk with, and you need someone to inspire, right? So when you're having that dinner, find someone that you're going to look up to, your accountability partner, motivating, like, ooh, or Auntie, tell me how you did this. And was it hard? Like, have those conversations, open up those conversations, that communication. And everyone may not want to be part of that conversation, but you'll have a handful of people. It might be two or three of you having that. Then you have the ones that you're walking with, hey, that'd be great. You want to start that on Monday? Or you want to do this? Or maybe we can write it down. Or it can be something simple as gratitude. Text me every day three things that you're grateful for. Because there's magic in gratitude. It lets you know that everything isn't bad. It raises your vibration. It gives you something to look forward to. And at the end of the day, when you thought you had a bad day, it's just like it wasn't, it reminded you of that moment when, wow, I did a podcast today and thinking about the people that you could have impacted and it went great. And Brooke came with her no teeth, because gratitude is different for people,
Yeah,
right? Different things make people heart sing. What made your heart sing? So you want to get and it shifts that energy as well. And the person that you want to inspire, someone's looking up to you, which gives you a reason for moving forward as well. You have the responsibility of showing people how it's done, even if it's just your daughter,
yeah.
right? Because your daughter, people are watching her and she's inspiring others based on how you've inspired her. So it's a chain reaction. So I would say just start the conversation and let it authentically guide and lead you to where it is. But always look for something. Always look to be that better version of yourself.
That is important. In thinking about like my family in general, they like to enjoy life. They like to look good. They like to experience life fully. And so I have been blessed to be around people that are always looking to inspire, support. A lot of nurses in my family, you know, it takes a certain type of person to
It does.
want to work with society, community in that capacity, whether it be healthcare or education. And I think it is really a blessing to have a Stacey in my life that is a reminder of not just of what I want for myself, but also what is possible. So I'm a advocate for ensuring that your circle has a balance of all of those people.
Hmm.
It's important to your psyche as well to be around people who want for you what you want for yourself.
Absolutely. And also be clear on what you don't want for yourself. Be clear on purging your inner circle if you need to. Be clear on letting people know that you have shifted and you have changed. Because, like I said earlier, the only thing that's consistent in life is change.
Yep.
And it's okay if you shift and you change. The magnet might need to be turned. Because
Yeah.
I woke up to this part and I can't tell you how many things I thought I knew that I didn't know. And once I found out some people are only operating in a space because they thought they knew better and
Yeah.
they didn't realize that they did not have the information that was necessary for them to make a change. So once I realized certain things, it was like, now that I'm clear, I'm also clear that I never wanted that. And I get to make a
Right.
choice.
And I laugh not because I think that is funny. I laugh because I relate to that experience. And I think a lot of us set goals for things. College is a primary example of this.
Hmm.
Love fashion, wanted to work in the fashion industry, all the things, and then got the things, and we were like,
Right.
right? And we put so much time and effort and energy, and this is where ego comes in. Like, are you going to battle your ego with like holding on to something just because of all the time and energy and effort and all the things you put into it? Or are you going to accept this as an experience for this moment in your life, and now you get to create a new experience for the next moment?
And trust the process. because it gets to guide you. Just listening to you say that, I see how fashion came into play. It did what it needed to do.
Mhm.
And then you got to release what didn't work and keep what did work. But trust the process because it's in alignment. It's not too far off, but you needed to think that way to get where you're going. I've ended up in situations where it's just like, this is not it, but I needed it and I didn't like it at all. But I needed it to get to the grander version of myself. Like that lesson was important.
Yeah.
I won't do it again. I'm not signing up for that again. But trust the process and listen to yourself. Most important this new year, whenever you start today, Thanksgiving, Christmas, January 1st, your birthday, whenever it is, I want everyone New Year's resolution, if I can make a wish, is that we learn how to better listen to ourselves, that we learn how to trust ourselves,
Yeah.
that we learn that we are our own North Star.
Yeah.
I want for us to be led. There is a divinity, call it what you want. I'm not a very religious person, but I am extremely spiritual. But I believe God, universe, love, all of that is the same thing. Life, take the words out, put it in a sentence, and just switch them around. It's all going to make sense, right? It's the same sentence, but it all lives within us.
Right.
And like, learn to listen to it. Half the stuff we end up that we don't like and can't stand is because something happened and then you go, I knew better.
Right. And that is an episode all by itself, to
All by
stop
itself.
ignoring the still small voice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that just speaks to like what I was gonna touch on next is um let's say it's the middle of 2025 and we are reflecting, right, on what we said we wanted versus where we are now. I think the thing I would ask myself is, did I listen to the still small voice over the past 6 months?
Right. But here's the beauty about that. You get to listen to it in that moment because you're asking yourself that question for a reason. You
Right.
feel misaligned. Something wasn't, but you know what? Now that I have the awareness,
The awareness.
I get to listen to myself right now. And if I can't do it by myself because we've been so programmed to needing and listening to others and not listening to ourselves, make sure someone that's on that team, that person in front of you, person behind you, and person you're walking with, make sure one of them is a trusted source that's going to tell you like it is,
Yeah.
right? And like it is, not as in this is what you need to do, but hold that space for you to define and for you to explore and for you to connect with yourself and to have that real conversation, not that fluffy. You don't need a cheerleader. Cheerleaders are cute. It's good for your ego. But that's not what we're talking about here, right? We could get cheerleaders. You know what, Renata, you look so gorgeous. You look so pretty. And I love when you did this and I love when you did that. But you're not. I love me a team of cheerleaders. Don't get me wrong. But they're not who I'm going to when I need the truth and the honesty. I want someone that's going to let me really sit down and flesh it out, and then go, really? I don't think that's what you meant. I don't think you believe that. Simple things like that is for you to go, I don't believe that.
Absolutely.
Those moments are beautiful.
Life changing.
They're life changing. They're life changing. It's spiritual teacher. It can be your pastor. It can be your sister, your brother, your aunt, whoever it is. It could be your coach. It could be your therapist. Like, just make sure that somebody is holding that space for you to be yourself. Yeah.
I
Because you
love
don't need answers. You don't need someone telling you the answers. Let me rephrase that. You don't, because only you know what you need in your life.
trusting. I hear trust yourself.
That's the only person you really should be trusting to that capacity, to that high level, which otherwise you put too much responsibility on other people. Why should someone else have to come and figure out your life for you?
I would let that one.
Yeah.
Why do you need someone else to come into your life to figure out your life for you?
Yeah.
That's because if we're being honest, especially when we are observing what is happening on social media or like just in the world and in general, a lot of people are looking for a savior. And I'm not talking about Jesus Christ for those who believe, because you don't have to You don't have to, he's there. You ask him to save you, he's the savior. You don't have to fight for him to save you. He's
Right.
the work, right? But you're looking for something else to shift the way you live your everyday life, someone to come and magically do.
Here's the beautiful thing about that. And I'm being a little sarcastic, right? The beautiful thing about that is the answers are around you all the time, but if you don't believe it, you're not going to act on it. So you want someone to come and figure it out in the way that you can receive it, that is flattering to your ego. And if it doesn't fall in line in all those areas, and you gotta believe that they want to do it,
Mm,
right? And if it doesn't connect in all those areas, the information is invalid or the experience is invalid. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. But with fairness, depending on how you grew up, some people really grew up in a very loving household, right? That the things that we spoke about earlier with like guiding you, teaching you how to make mistakes and like embracing, like some people is not a whole lot. It's a small percentage of the world that you have people that grew up in narcissistic households, have people in their family had so many things have happened to them that it derailed them. And when you look at little people, they're looking at Brooke coming in who don't care about the not caring, she feels safe, right? Now, you have others like me growing up. If my mother said not to come into that
and I
space,
came in that door, child.
baby,
Right,
baby. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm the I said what I said kind of mom too,
right.
right? But at the same time, I don't want them to fear me. But if you grow up being afraid for whatever reason, and most of it is traumatic, it pulls you away from being able to have that communication with yourself, right? It's not so easy. I'm saying it like I've said it like it. If anybody knows, I know that the authentic version of you gets ripped away
Yeah,
for a lot of people, and you have then been programmed and conditioned how not to listen to yourself. You've been trained and taught. We look at it on television all the time. It's a soapbox. It's a whole nother episode. But and then you grow up into this. So you grow this persona, right? The people pleaser. That's what I developed because that's how I found safety. If I do what you say, I'm going to be safe, right? If I stay out the way, I'm going to be safe. If I play small over here, you're not going to get to me,
yeah,
right? So, and then we take that into our adulthood, into spaces that don't serve us. So here I am, because that's all I knew. I rehearsed it for so many
like
years,
yours.
for years upon years upon years. And now that's the only person I know how to be. So here I am in adulthood, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to be. And it's not working for me because people want you to show up now. Now you're getting told, why don't you just do this and go ahead and say how you feel? It's like, what you mean say how I feel? I don't even know how I feel. I've
Right.
never had a moment or permission to, like really explore how I feel. So learn about yourself, learn where you're getting stuck, realize like really, and it's okay if you just notice it without judgment if you can. If you can't, find the support that you need. There's lots of support out there. But there's lots of support out there that will help you along the way, of like really discovering who you are and appreciating every aspect and guide you,
Yeah,
but help support you to realize, uplift, and get on the right track with, because it's going to take work. It's not an overnight job. And if it took you 20, 30, 40, 50 years to get this way, it's going to take some time for you to recondition. The reconditioning is harder than the conditioning. Let me just put that out there. It's harder to recondition than it is to condition.
yeah.
So be gentle with yourself, trust the process, and do the work. And it's okay. You're still worthy. You're still valuable. You're still lovable. Because it's not just you. You're not alone. You're
I
not
love
alone.
that. I love that. That feels really good.
It does.
Well, for 2025, I've declared some phenomenal goals, and I'm excited for what my daughter is experiencing in her life right now. She's in her first year of college. For those of you who
Yeah.
don't know, and she's having a good time. I think too good.
As she should.
She's having a good time, and I love that for her. I love that the experience is growing her up mentally, emotionally. And now for me, life looks different. And so this conversation is really helping me see how and where I can even adjust things. Sometimes, and other times it's good to hear and reaffirm what you already know. So, Stacey, I appreciate you for bringing that into this moment and creating um, a space where we can really evaluate who we are, and
Yeah,
not just who we say we are, but who we are, and who we are that we have not yet realized, because we are extraordinary women, extraordinary people, creating other extraordinary beings in the world. I love
absolutely.
it. I love it so much. Is there anything that you are excited for in 2025 to experience? I know you said connecting with more people. Anything for yourself personally that you are excited about?
I'm going through a set of transitions currently, and part of it is like just getting into a deeper partnership with myself.
Mm,
And it feels good. Just thinking about it, I'm excited about it. It's like there was a version of me that I knew, and then, I kind of got lost with a certain period of time, and I saw the conflict that it raised inside of me. I saw the effect that it had on my mind, and my soul. And my soul has always been there, like, look, we got your back. And there is something that's being ignited at this moment, that this next year specifically, this relationship, this clarity, and this connection is going to just take it to another level, because
mm,
it's like me versus me. And I just look forward to, in the next year, personally falling more in love with myself, like really, really allowing myself the space to grow, allowing myself the space to like really experience the grace, the trusting, the next level abundance, like in getting things that I know that I deserve, of course. And like, she always doing something. Like really just getting my just desserts, so to speak. Like, yeah, I'm excited about this new relationship that I get to have with myself.
yeah, that is beautiful. The thing that stuck out for me and that resonated was the me versus me. And we are beautiful women. We are intelligent. We bring so much to every room that we enter. So the thought of you cultivating more of that, I am just I am happy to be here. I am happy to be here. It is already amazing.
I'm excited. I'm excited to like connect to, even because it makes me also think about the circles that I'm going to create,
Yeah.
right? The new family that I'm going to create. Like, I would love to, in life, because I do believe what you put out there, you get. I want to dance with people's souls. Like, the people, I want to be in relationship with your spirit. That's what I'm excited, like, and the me that I'm excited to grow even more into
Yeah.
gets to play with people's spirits. Like, because even as I'm sitting here, Renata, and I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to the physical Renata. Like, I love your soul. When you smile, I can see the smile isn't just a person that's just like, because you got to smile for the camera. Like, it's your soul, like, really enjoying this conversation. So, how do I get access to that with more people?
Yes.
That's what I look forward to. Like, yeah,
I love that. That's so exciting. That just is like, for me, it sounds like a very beautiful and authentic and peaceful and safe place to be. I
yeah.
love that. I love that so much. Thank you for joining us today. I hope to have you back very soon.
Just say the word.
We have a ton of conversations planned coming up. We'll talk about, actually, next week, we'll be talking about how to keep it cool at Thanksgiving dinner when the clapbacks are flying, when people are destined to pull up with political conversations, just how to keep your peace. So I'm
And
looking
people bringing their stuff.
forward.
Be like, what you bringing to the Thanksgiving? This trauma.
That's what
That's what I'm bringing for dessert.
praying for everybody involved.
Yes.
It's real. So we'll be having that conversation next week, but it is a season of giving, a season of gratitude, a season to be thankful for an entire year of just beauty. I've had the opportunity to spend a chunk of the year in community with Stacey, and I'm just looking forward to how that grows and blossoms and blooms over the next few weeks into the year. We got some goals we crushing in 2025, and we're gonna come back and tell you all about it. So thank you for being here. Thank you all
Thank you for
for
having me.
watching. Stacey, tell everyone where they could learn more about you, where they could find you.
Well, I'm at a beautiful age, so I've always got to think about this first. So you can find me on Instagram in that at phenomenal, PHE.MOM.ENAL. If you caught it, it's Mom, MOM. And with my website is phenomenal, still PHE-MOM-ENAL.com. Or I like to say, if you know me, you can find me. You can also go to Stacey Singh, Stacey.Singh, StaceySingh.com. There we go. StaceySingh.com. And you'll be able to find me. It'll take you straight to my website as well.
Awesome. Thank you. I will put all of that information for everyone in the description. So no worries. You don't have to rewind 50 times to catch it. It
Listen,
is all going to be in the description for you. Again, Stacey, thank you for joining us.
thank
Everyone,
you.
thank you for watching. Have an amazing rest of the week. See you next week.